Greetings and salutations out there across the wide and wonderful internet. Michael Shibley with you here for this edition of Shibbles and Bits. And today we're talking about Simone Biles. Now, of course, the big news that has happened out of the Tokyo Olympics is the fact that Simone Biles withdrew from the women's team competition in gymnastics. Now, what she has stated is that she was suffering from the twisties during practice before the finals began. Biles went to do a vault with 2.5 twists, but appearing dazed and disoriented as she flipped through the air, seemed to bail on the skill midway through. So instead, she completed 1.5 twists and nearly fell upon landing. The vault received the lowest score of the rotation, and it's about a 2.5 point drop from the same event she had during the Rio Olympics back in 2016. Now, Simone Biles said at the press conference after she withdrew from the competition that she had been suffering from the twisties in practice. Now, the twisties is just the gymnastics term for the yips. The yips are an unexplained mental block that athletes can experience that keeps them from doing just even the basic skills that they've done over and over throughout their careers. Sometimes it can be temporary, sometimes it can be permanent. There have been athletes throughout sports history that have experienced the yips. Here are just a few of them that you guys should really know about. Tommy Armour, who many of you probably know from a set of golf clubs that your dad has had for years. He couldn't putt, and he's pretty much the one who coined the phrase overall. Another golfer, David Duval, who's one of those early rivals for Tiger Woods, he won the 2001 British Open or Open Championship. In the first few years that he was on tour, he was one of the top money winners across the entire tour. However, after he won the Tour Championship in 2001, he dropped to 80th on the money list in 2002, and then he fell to 121st in 2003. And he just has never recovered since then, despite multiple attempts at coming back. And a lot of that is attributed to things with his swing and putting. It's all really generalized as the yips. Also, you look into baseball, where it's been another huge factor. The biggest one that a lot of people knew about in the past was Pirates pitcher Steve Blass, who, again, was great. And then one year, he walked as many people as he had innings one year, and his pitching just never recovered. Another baseball pitcher to be aware of was Cardinals pitcher Rick Ankiel. He came on like a blaze of glory, but then during the 2000 National League Championship Series, he just was never able to find the plate. He threw so many wild pitches. It was just horrible and gut-wrenching to watch. And he was never able to pitch in Major League Baseball again after a few chances at coming back. Now, to his credit, because he was an amazing athlete, he did come back and become a very good outfielder for years with the Cardinals. So credit to him for fighting through all of that and at least coming through in a new position. One of the other baseball players was Cubs pitcher Jon Lester. In 2014, he just couldn't make the throw over to first for a pickoff attempt at all. He just stopped doing it. Moving on to basketball, one of the ones that a lot of people are aware of now was former #1 pick in the 2017 NBA draft. It was Markelle Fultz. When he was with the Philadelphia 76ers, he just had a hitch in his free throws. It was just weird. Nobody could tell what was going on. A lot of people noticed it was probably the yips. So you have all of these different things that happened in the world of sports with the yips, but in gymnastics, it can be so much worse. Biles said also later on, talking through Instagram and social media, she said she could not tell up from down, which again, horrible to see it in gymnastics, because when you're doing all those flips and rotations, if you lose sight of where you are in the air, that can just end horribly for you. So her withdrawing, she realized that if she stayed in there, her scores, even if she was able to land some skills and some tricks, probably wasn't going to be enough for the United States to even medal in the competition. So she realized she needed to step away and withdraw and let one of her other teammates step up. So the other 3 United States gymnastics members, including all-around gold medalist Suni Lee, was able to rally and still make the silver. So again, this was a calculated move. This was not quitting. This wasn't being soft. Simone Biles knew she had a very huge risk of injury if she went out there and pushed it, so she made the smart decision for her and the rest of the team to even have a good chance of medaling, which they did. When you talk about injuries in gymnastics, one of the things people need to research and look up is former Russian gymnast Elena Munhina. She was the women's world champion in 1978, including beating Miss Perfect 10, Nadia Comaneci. She had a broken leg moving on forward into the 1979 World Championships. She was not able to compete in that event wearing a cast, but pressured by her coach to return before the 1980 Olympics, she had not fully healed, and doctors had warned, don't take the cast off. However, the doctors did remove the cast, and even though that bone had not fully healed, Elena was still out there competing. Elena was also pushed to try and land during the Olympics the Thomas Salto, which is a move that has been so dangerous it is now banned in all gymnastics competition for both men and women. On the floor, she'd been practicing, and this was just weeks before the 1980 Olympic Games were to begin. However, on that floor routine, she under-rotated, landing on her chin, and it immediately snapped her spine. And she became a quadriplegic on the spot. And unfortunately, she did die in 2006 at the young age of 45 due to complications from being a quadriplegic. So that's some of the risks you take when you're doing a lot of these skills, especially ones you're not prepared for. So when Simone Biles comes out and says she's not mentally there, mental health can be just as damaging as a physical injury. So that's something we all need to be aware of. Biles went on to say, I didn't have a bad performance and quit. I've had plenty of bad performances throughout my career and finished the competition. I simply got so lost, my safety was at risk, as well as a team medal, as I talked about earlier. It is something, again, when you have no control over your body, there is serious risk of injury. And Biles was not wanting to jeopardize her future just because she wanted to perform an extra flip or two to try and medal. Simone Biles is one of the most ultra-competitive gymnasts we have ever seen. If you talk to anybody who has performed and been in the gymnastics world for more than 5 minutes will tell you that. Simone Biles has 4 Olympic gold medals already. She has also won 5 world championships, more than anybody else. And one of those, in 2018, Simone Biles had a kidney stone while winning that gold medal. That's something you all need to be aware of. As someone who has had family members suffer from kidney stones, I know how just debilitating those can be. And that fact that Simone Biles was able to go out there and perform all these skills and all these routines is amazing, and that is the character that we look for. So Simone Biles, again, we salute you here at Shibbles and Bits for doing a great job in being aware of your mental health and being able to go out there and still be a great representation of Team USA, as well as all of the other women's gymnastics Olympians that we have there, including, again, Suni Lee, who won the all-around competition. A salute to her, and a great job all around. That's going to wrap up this edition of Shibbles and Bits. Please like and subscribe if you've liked this video, and we will see you next time.